Good morning and welcome to the morning market brief on Business Day TV. I'm your host David Olujimi. We're going to be breaking down some of the market activities from yesterday. Yesterday we saw a bearish market activity as the NGX All-Share Index went down by 0.40%. The All-Share Index now stands at 109,183.02. It's been a slight dip we've seen this week. There's been some market activities. There's been some corporate action that has driven a lot of bearish action in the market this year. Year to date, our market is still at 6.08%, and yesterday we saw what I would describe as a very large trading volume. We saw 1,646,952,000 shares thereabout, with a total traded value of 19.099 billion naira. Essentially, when you look at these figures, we are still coming to the driving factors, but one of the driving factors, one stock is a big driving factor, and that's Royal Exchange. When you see exchanges like that, or when you see happenings like that in the market, you know that there was an insider buying, or there is significant market action taking place on that particular stock. Judging by our market, we move to some of the top gainers and some of the top losers. Home Right, that's the Union Homes Right, was the top gainer yesterday with a 9.97% gain to close at 15 naira 75 kobo per share. Then Red Star Express, the transport company, gained 9.91%, beg your pardon, to close at a share price of 6 naira 10 kobo. RT Briscoe was another top gainer. RT Briscoe this year has been a significant gainer in the market. RT Briscoe this year has gained over 100% in the exchange. Then we also saw Sovereign Insurance gain 9.38%, and finally Custodian Investment gaining 9%. In amongst our top losers, we saw May and Baker, the pharmaceutical company, losing 9.96%. We saw Kellerams losing Kellerams also following suit, lost 9.96%. Linkage Assurance lost 9.88%. Omatech, the computer company, the IT company, lost 8.82%. And Regency Alliance Insurance lost 6.78%. One of our major stock we'll be tracking, though it does not appear among the top 5 losers, is Fidelity Bank, because Fidelity Bank just follows. Fidelity Bank lost about 6.97% yesterday. This is a continuation of the market action we've been seeing since that court case was announced. Amongst our top 5, then we move to the top 5 traded stocks. There we see Royal Exchange with almost half of the trading volume, more than half of the trading volume allotted to Royal Exchange, 903.593 million, to record a trading value of 903.11 million. 11 million naira. Fidelity Bank recorded a trading volume of 137.4 million shares to record a trading value of 2.42 billion naira. We also saw Japan Gold, 81.680 million in traded volume to record a trading value of 164.23 million naira. UBA appears yesterday was unlike other trading days where you see a lot of banking stocks take the day. UBA appears on the list with a trading volume of 60.777 million shares to produce a trading value of 2.08 billion naira. And finally, Tantalizer with a 43.499 million trading volume. That's 43.499 shares were traded to record a trading value of 111.52 million. If you take a brief look at what went on with Royal Exchange, you would see that some of the happenings happened in a very short period. Just 46 deals, and we saw that amount of trading volume. It means that some big buyers have plunged in onto that share, and over the coming days we'll be understanding what is going on. Then for Fidelity Bank, it's a significant move. Fidelity Bank has been in the news for quite some time now, especially given the state of activities after a court ruling, a Supreme Court ruling that may have plunged the bank into some very huge debt. The questions arise: what is the bank owing? Are they owing 225 billion or are they owing 30 billion? They have reported that they do not owe 225 billion, has been reported across the news. They report that the court exchange rate and the exchange rate of they report that the court's exchange rate and the exchange rate that is in the judgment, they report that there's been some form of misunderstanding with what is expected of them. What we know we know that this week alone, Fidelity Bank has lost 17%. Almost 20% of its value has been shed off from the market, basically just due to the fact that if you look at their share started trading with a share price of 20 naira 80 kobo this week, but now they are down to 17 naira 35 kobo, more than almost 20% decline from where we started. We wait to see, and investors, shareholders are waiting to see what the bank will be saying about this court judgment. For those who are not aware, on Monday a court order was made. The Supreme Court made a ruling in a case that had lasted since 2006, a case between Fidelity Bank versus Sagecom, an Indian company that FSB International, which was a bank that Fidelity took over. FSB International sold a particular building which another company basically defaulted on a loan taken from FSB, and FSB had to take the building and sell it off to Sagecom. However, during the periods between 2006 to 2018, G Kappa, which is the company that defaulted to FSB, did not evacuate the building for Sagecom to take it over. Hence, the court ruled that Fidelity, which now owns FSB International, has to repay every of the rent accumulated that Sagecom would have gotten on that rent, everything accumulating to a particular sum, which I'm not very aware about, considering that the facts behind the case has not been unbundled. From there, we move on to the global market. Yesterday, we saw quite a bit of flat movement in the American exchange. The Dow Jones was basically closed flat. There was no movement between the previous day and the day before. The S&P 500 index went down a little bit. We saw it decline by about 0.04%. We closed at around 5,842.01. Then the Nasdaq index, we saw the Nasdaq go up. There was an uptick in the Nasdaq index. Considering this week, we've seen a lot of AI tech stocks. Tech stocks have been basically giving investors a lot of butterflies in the tummy. That's the word I'll use. Butterflies in the tummy. Yes, considering the volume of optimism in that particular space, especially when you look at some of the happenings in that space. For example, we have the Stargate factory that is coming up. The Stargate factory is basically a collaboration between OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle, where they are building $100 billion AI super factory. That is thousands upon thousands of supercomputers, and that has been a very significant driver for tech stocks such as Nvidia, tech stocks such as Oracle, and we've seen massive movements for Meta. In the Asian market, however, the story was quite different, as the Nikkei 225 yesterday closed with a downturn of 0.484%. That is as at 9 p.m. West African time yesterday. Then we saw the Korean index, that's the KOSPI, the Korean Stock Exchange, declined by 1.22%. The Hang Seng Index also declined by 1.19%. Obviously, there's not a lot of optimism in the Asian market. Then we move down to the European index, which is also displaying the same. The European market is also displaying the same sentiments along with the Asian market. A lot of decline in the market. We've seen the FTSE 100, that is the benchmark index of the London Stock Exchange, go down 0.54%. The CAC 40 index, which basically benchmarks the Paris Stock Exchange, went down by 0.58%. Then the DAX index went down by 0.51%. We are here to see the market movement in the Nigerian exchange, especially in the aftermath of CBN dropping rates on treasury bills 2 days ago. We expect that from today till next week, we'll probably, from today Friday, which is the close of trade for this week, we'll probably see some happenings in the market on that particular end. So we've not seen the move of slightly dropping rates on T-bills have not crystallized on the exchange, on the equities market. However, today we are expecting to see quite a bit of bullish action in the NGX, considering that over the past few weeks we've been seeing a lot of bearish action. There is expected that some form of market correction will come into the market today. I'll probably see a bit of green on that on the side of our equities market and let us continue the May. For this, in the month of May, we've seen quite a bit of action, especially after the very slow first 4 months of 2025 we've had. So maybe this week will still end up in the green for the market and end up in the green for investors. This is what we can take on Morning Market Brief on Business Day TV this morning. Thank you and have a lovely morning. Good morning.